Hello, my darlings. How is everyone keeping in this Mars retrograde? Well, I need to say my energy level is on the level 0, like below 0, -10. Mars is kind of conjunct my natal Mars at 25 degrees Aries, so I've been a bit busy and a bit sick and a bit low. So let me know how it's going for you guys. But as always, thank you for watching the previous video for the new moon and for all your lovely comments and suggestions. That was really sweet. I read all of them, although I'm not always replying to all of them, but of course I'm reading all of them. And thank you so very much for your interest and your support. So today we are going to discuss the full moon in Aries, yeah? So probably the most important, the most powerful full moon of the year. The full moon in Aries starts the new cycle of the full moons, right? We kind of made our closure 2 weeks ago, a month ago with the full moon in Pisces, and Aries is the first sign in our collective first house, starts the cycle anew. As always, it's a good time to look back and to see what was happening for us half a year ago in March during the new moon in Aries. Well, the lockdown was happening in most countries, but yeah, it starts something big, and the play which is in the sky is really interesting, as I said, I was a bit sick and I was busy and my mind was blank. I didn't know what to talk about for this full moon at all. It also got super cold in Ireland. You can see I'm wearing all the clothes I have. We kind of like had a beautiful Indian summer last week, and then on Monday, Tuesday, it dropped from like 25 to 7, It's still sunny, but like it's super cold. And yeah, so in Northern Hemisphere, we're approaching winter, yeah? Maybe it's a bit easier for us to kind of do all the release work than in the Southern Hemisphere, where days are getting longer and it's getting more warm and beautiful. But look, we are on this boat together, the collective. And as I said, I had very little inspiration, but then I got a massive one. And so I will start with a small intro. So look what is happening. We're having this full moon in Aries on the 1st or 2nd of October, depending where you are in the world. The moon is at 9 degrees Aries, right? It is obviously opposite the sun at 9 degrees Libra. The moon in Aries is very close to Chiron, to this asteroid at 7 degrees Aries, 7-8 as far as I remember. They're almost conjunct. Chiron, the asteroid named after the ancient Greek mythological creature, the Chiron, the Centaurus, who was an astrologer, a wizard, a healer. And in astrology, Chiron is also believed to kind of give us this healing power and actually fix the areas of our life which are a little bit out of place. And so that's happening there. Mars is retrograding still at about 26 degrees Aries, still squaring, having an exact square to Saturn. So Mars is bleeding, Mars is wounded, it's like a wounded warrior, square Saturn, this severe old man who puts restrictions, who puts restraint. And magically enough, this Mars retrograde is also trining Venus. Venus is now in Leo, in the last degrees of Leo, also at about 28 degrees of Leo. And then I was thinking, I was like, what to do with this information? What am I going to talk about? Then I thought of symbols that we use in tarot cards. And in tarot, the card that we have for Aries is an Emperor. Hope you can see. Emperor is our card which represents Aries in tarot deck. And Emperor is number 4. And number 4 is Earth. Because, like Earth has 4 corners of the earth, 4 elements, directions of wind and all those things. So I was like, okay, Earth and the King. And then things got together in my head. Because I started thinking a bit of what is unfolding in the sky as of a theatrical play, when we have a few characters, you know, when you open the printed play, like, you know, I don't know, the play of Shakespeare or of Anton Chekhov, I don't know, you see first the list of characters, the list of dramatis personae. And I thought, okay, we have this Mars retrograde. He's like a wounded warrior. He's also squaring the Saturn, which gives this notion of old age, of wisdom, of ruling, yeah, because it's in Capricorn, of this kind of ruling authority. We have a Chiron, the healer. We have the moon there, which is like a mystic guest, and it's a full moon. The guest which comes and which sheds light on the situation. And then we have Venus trining it, bringing some harmony to poor suffering Mars. And Venus is like this divine grace, feminine love, all those things. And it's happening in the first house, which is our collective. It's all about self. It's self. It is first house. It's all about survival, physical representation, physical health, you know, how you function in the world, the areas of your control, so on and so on. And then I thought of this emperor and the number 4. And in ancient mythology, pretty much all over the world, king actually equals to his land. King symbolically represents the land. You probably heard that in many cultures when king was inaugurated, there was the ritual of symbolic wedding to the earth, you know. And since then, king is kind of in synergy with his land. That's why in the majority of cultures, if not all of them, the person who was injured or who had a physical, kind of physically imperfect, you know, with the, like, you know, limp or blind or something, couldn't legally become a king, because the imperfection of a king would affect the land. When the king is healthy, when the king is righteous, the earth is flourishing, it brings harvest, it's fertile, the weather is good, the cattle is healthy, women are fertile, and so on and so on. So the well-being of the country depends on the health of the king. If the king is sick, then it's all gone. Like, there is a disharmony in the natural world. So king, basically, like, by what's inside of him, it is projecting. It is projected towards the universe. It kind of like gains the cosmic scale. And then when I thought of all those elements, I got like this eureka moment, because I started thinking of the Grail legend. And I thought, oh God, like, that's a divine revelation, because that's exactly what this full moon is about. For those of you who don't remember it well, I will give a short synopsis and then we'll discuss it. So what is the Grail legend? The quest of Parsifal for the Holy Grail was first started in the big poetic form by the French poet Chrétien de Troyes in 12th century, and he never finished his poem. He died before he could finish it, and this kind of mysteriously gave the sort of like unanswered questions, kind of the feeling of something unaccomplished, but also an invitation for us to think more about the mystic meaning of this poem. Lots of like other medieval poets after Chrétien tried to continue, write their own kind of like endings of the poem, more or less successfully, you know. But what we have there is that we have sort of like the same circle of dramatis personae that we have now in the sky. Because this young knight, Percival, he is foolish, he is immature, he's traveling all over the world and trying to find the Grail and perform his nightly feasts. And then one day he sees an old man fishing, and the man is suffering from an unbearable wound. And so it is like our Mars, our wounded Mars, old king, like, because of the square of Saturn. And Parsifal is like this moon, like this mysterious guest out of the blue, you know. And the king invites him to his castle. And during the evening procession, during the dinner, suddenly the Grail is brought into the room with the amazing glow, with this supernatural presence. And the Grail has an ability to give all the desires of all the people present in the hall, so that all their dreams are coming true, all their wishes, besides the wounded king, because the Grail needs to be unlocked. And how it needs to be unlocked is that Percival needs to ask a crucial question. He needs to ask, whom does the Grail serve? But Percival is still a young man, he's foolish enough, and he was told by his mom and by his tutors not to be too talkative, to be polite, to have his mouth shut when he's eating. So he never asked the question. And then in many variants of the legends, when he wakes up, the castle is gone, the Fisher King is gone, all his court is gone, and he's like in the wasteland. Because what the realm of the Kingfisher, because he's so badly wounded, is a wasteland. There is nothing there. The earth doesn't give fruit anymore. And then Percival is going, he's upset. He meets a lady who is constantly crying, and she says, oh God, if only you ask the question, whom does the Grail serve? You would heal the Fisher King, you would heal the land, you would restore the balance and the harmony to the world, but you failed. You failed because you're not ready, because you're immature. You don't see you are not worthy enough to partake of the healing energies of the Grail. And then Chrétien de Troyes died, he never answered the question, whom does the Grail serve? And it became a conundrum for medieval minds. And I think, in my opinion, one of the most successful continuations of the tale, it is the Parzifal by German poet Wolfram von Eschenbach. He tried to continue what Chrétien couldn't do. And in his interpretation, this quest of Parsifal, full of remorse, full of regret that he failed to ask this question, how foolish he was, that he missed the opportunity, it leads him to this spiritual quest to make himself worthy of seeing the Grail again and repairing his wrongdoing, And he suffers lots, he travels around the world. And there is a very interesting episode there, that at one point he meets a knight, he encounters another knight, and he faces him in a battle, in a fight. So they're fighting, and ultimately a messenger appears and says that this other knight is actually the son of Parzifal's father, so they are like, they're brothers. And Parzifal says an amazing thing. He thinks, oh, it means that I was fighting with the self. And Wolfram von Eschenbach, as a medieval mystic, he knows very well what he is doing. Because those people, they're not real characters, they're not real people. Their ideas, their symbols, they're all about our internal struggle, our battle with the self, before we can partake of the mysterious essence of the Grail, of the divine love, ultimately, And after this, Percival is ready. He returns to the castle of the Fisher King. And the question is a bit different in Wolfram von Eschenbach tale. The question is, uncle, what is troubling you? Because it turns out the Fisher King is the brother of the mother of Parsifal. So he asks, what is troubling you? He shows this mercy, this interest in the other person. And this question mysteriously heals the king and mysteriously heals the wasteland and makes kind of the whole all the participants of the situation and the kingdom itself being imbued with the healing of the Grail, And when I started thinking of it, I was like, how interesting, because we have this retrograding Mars, which is our wound, which makes us kind of go internally and process our wounds and look back at them. So we're like this Fisher King. But when we're so low, every person doing with alternative, all those like alternative medicine and stuff, they would tell that whatever is happening to you, your physical body, health-wise, whatever is happening to you in your life, in your career, in your relationship with people, are projections of what is inside of you. Some people, they vibrate extremely high. They're always so confident. They are on the very high vibration. Everything is working well for them. But when we are full of those wounds which are unprocessed, when we are afraid, when we are full of anxieties, that's when we are projecting it. We are projecting those low vibrations, and we attract people of low vibrations. We attract events, scenarios of low vibration. So in a way, we are all like this wounded Fisher King whose land is ultimately a wasteland, because we are not healed entirely. And this trining Venus to this wounded king, Mars, you know, it is like the Grail. It is in Leo. Leo is all about heart chakra. Beautiful Venus, it is love, divine feminine, mercy. This extremely loving and caring energy, which is capable of healing us, if only we ask the right question. If only we ask either, whom does the Grail serve? And what would the question be? Well, in my opinion, which by no means is authoritative, but because the Grail actually is kept in the castle of the Fisher King, because it is brought to his hall during the supper, and of course it is a sort of like metaphor of the Last Supper of Jesus Christ, it belongs to the Fisher King. So the answer is, whom does the Grail serve? To whom does this healing, loving, divine energy serve? To the Fisher King, to us, to our wounded self in need of healing, to our ailing, hurting, bleeding self. That's who it serves. Or if we have a look at the question that Percival needs to ask in Wolfram von Eschenbach's story, Uncle, what is troubling you? What a Libra question. Because Aries is the first house, it's all about self. Libra is the seventh house, all about the others, partnerships, looking around, taking care of people around you, being merciful, being attentive, being careful of people around you, asking what is troubling you, my dear. And then the healing is coming because someone reached out to you, someone offered help, you know. So, in a nutshell, when I think of it, Percival, in this complex of tales, it is our ego. It is our foolish, immature ego which is sometimes talking too much, and sometimes when actually it's time to talk too much, this ego sometimes shuts down and like, no, not gonna do it. This ego fails to ask the right question, fails to heal ourselves, fails to, to accept, to address the Grail, the divine loving energy, you know. And this ego needs to go through the dark forest and fight lots of demons, lots of knights, lots of monsters, to experience loss because he learns that his mother has died while he was in the quest for the Grail, and he's maturing, he's growing up, and one of his last deeds, as I said, it is a fight with, as he says himself, with his brother, but of course we understand that it is a fight with the son of his father, it is a fight with himself. And when this fight is finished and he doesn't kill this person, they just kind of stop fighting, you know. There is no winner. It's just the whole act which brings this realization and maturity. And then when he matures enough, he's ready to go back to the castle and to repair what he didn't know how to do when he was this younger, foolish ego. So the ego is growing, and when it is growing, it is almost already touching the higher self, the divine, which is the Grail. And this uncle, which also represents, when we look at it in the whole complex, which represents the wounds that we all have, and his wasteland, which represents the projection of his pain to things around him, to his own life. That's when the ego, after having matured, is capable of asking the right question to the higher self, asking for help, surrendering, and that's when the Grail, the higher self, the divine, is helping. So for this full moon, I would say that let's ask for two things. First of all, let's ask this energy of this very powerful, very much new beginning full moon to help us mature, to help us reach our potential, to be brave enough to go back to this castle and to ask, whom does the energy of God, of unconditional love of divine feminine serve? And the answer would be my wounds. My wounds it serves. And by then, actually opening it to getting the light of the grail shine inside of you and heal you. And when internal wounds are healed, your projections outside stop as well. And how to say, and your wasteland becomes the blossoming land. And because it is happening in the collective, in Aries, in our first house, it is all about the self and about the life we create by projecting ourselves externally. I know what I'm talking about very well, because I was for ages in this sort of a loop. I was so afraid of certain events that when I needed to face something like this, I was already, okay, I need to get ready that it's not gonna go well. It will go really badly. So I need to get ready, and I'm ready. I'm gonna suffer. It's gonna be painful, lengthy, lots troublesome, so on. I was ready. But then after I trapped myself in this loop. And then I tried to work through it through meditations and diaries and all those things. And I thought, well, I'm not preparing for the worst. I'm creating the worst. I'm full of fear, full of anxiety. I'm shaking. And of course it's not going to go well. And I tried to change internally to basically block this wound, to heal it. To say, every time I'm facing the situations of this type, I don't need to be afraid. It's going to be fine. It's just the life situation. It's nothing important. If it goes south, I'll think of it. I'll deal with it. But I stopped being afraid. And you know what? Now those situations are all going smoothly, effortlessly. Because I don't care about them. I don't think of them. I don't attract my fear to the situation. That's what I think, that this is the Aries, the Emperor. That's what it's telling us. The wounded king, the wounded fisher king, and his wasteland. And then when the king is healed, the land is renewed. So when we renew our souls, our whole lives are renewed. And that's very much Aries and very much first house. So yeah, so let's think of this new moon as of a theater play of the quest for the Holy Grail. So let's start the reading. We'll start with Aries today, and Aries, you got, look, King of Cups, the Chariot, and the Hanged Man. Well, King of Cups, going emotional with the Chariot, emotional journey to the heart of yourself, shamanic journey between the world to your own, between the world to your own core, you know. And yeah, well, I mean, lots of spiritual work is needed from all of us, but for Aries it's probably more than for anyone else, because of the retrograde and because the full moon is happening in your first house, right, guys? So going back to those kind of primordial waters which gave birth to everything, going back to the source of your own creation, of your well-being, to this calm and quiet place, you know, those lotuses. What is lotus? Lotus in Indian tradition is the symbol of meditation, the symbol of enlightenment. In Greek tradition, you know, Ulysses, he encounters those lotophagi, so the lotus eaters, yeah? People who eat lotuses and who are in this kind of delusion, in this dreamlike state, you know, and so on. So it is something about kind of really deeply going inward, not connecting to any sort of external rush, but taking this time to reconnect with the source, and doing this quite actively. So driving forward, but not externally, but internally, and performing this shamanic journey. Hanged Man, what is it? It is like delays, the need to wait, probably feeling a little bit uncomfortable areas, kind of hanging not here, not there, hanging between the earth and the sky, you know, not touching anything, and hanging with your head down. So in case it is difficult for you what's going on, it is time to change your perspective on it. Try to look at it out of the box. Try to think of it, of whatever you're experiencing, whatever is happening. Try to change your perspective, like, what is it, 190 degrees? I don't remember. Like, so that you can see from a different angle. Try to kind of be like this hanged man. Hanged man is static. He cannot move, but he's observing from a different angle. But also, if you feel inclined to it, hanged man, it's also Odin, god Odin, the high god in Norse mythology, who hanged himself on the world tree of Yggdrasil, and he sacrificed himself to himself in order to obtain the secret of magic, the secret of runes, the secrets of the universe. So it is also a symbol of self-sacrifice. And I think it's important because, like, the sun is now in Libra opposing you, and in case there are like those Mars retrograde desires for quick words, for aggression and so on, hold on to it. Think that your kind of like call for this full moon is to sacrifice for the others, but this sacrifice will ultimately reconnect you deeper with yourself and allow you, still you're moving forward. If nothing is happening, if you're not getting like new jobs and partying hard and traveling, you're still moving forward. It's just a different move, you know. And I guess this is the message for Aries for this full moon. So yeah, it's very interesting when the hanged man comes with the chariot. So this kind of balance of staying static, but by staying static, moving forward actually, and bringing a better thing into your life by changing your point of view and by opening your heart to some sort of like journey, to the shamanic journey between the worlds, across the world tree. The next one is Taurus, yeah? Yes, I think so. The full moon in Aries for Tauruses. Taurus is still hosting Uranus. Okay, Taurus, you know, the full moon is happening for you in the 12th house, and the 12th house is the house of release, and the full moon is the phase of release, yeah, because it starts waning, so you're releasing whatever needs to be released with the waning moon. You got the 3 of Swords, the sorrow, the broken heart, the 5 of Swords, and then the 10 of Swords. Uranus is now in your first house, Taurus, so Uranus is a great liberator. If the Mars retrograding in your 12th house, actually, because it's the house of karmic release, brings you very powerfully the feeling of this past wound, of this bleeding Mars, you know, of this wounded warrior. Maybe you're going through a heartbreak now. Maybe it was a heartbreak in the past which wasn't thoroughly thought of and wasn't really forgiven and released. It is going to be challenging, but this is a time to actually think of it and let it go, because 5 of Swords, 5 is the number of challenges, I always say, because it is a midway, it is equally different, far away, I mean, like from 2, Ace 2, what is the beginning, and 10, what is the completion. And here, like, the woman, she's Athena, she's like the goddess of intellect, because Swords is a suit of air and intellect. In Greek mythology, she's the goddess of intellect, and her symbol is owl. Owl is also related to like wisdom, and she is how to say, she's trapped in those owls almost to the point of suffocation. So although this card would mean something like challenge on the intellectual level, I think that the remedy for it is not to actually think of your heartbreaks and like going through it like mad in the head, you know, but to reach out to others. Like here she has like actually sort of like a fire spark on her chest. She has a baby. So although she's full of those like clapping wings in her head, of those noises, of those thought forms, you know, reaching out to others and kind of like reconnecting more probably with your inner child even. So giving preference in challenging moments, not to thoughts but to feelings. And by this you're actually reaching the Ten of Swords, the end of the cycle, the end of the kind of like this intellectual analysis processing, and with then you will release. So yeah, so not really surprising cards, I'd say. You're very much invited towards reconsidering many things, especially during Mars retrograde, because as I said, it's a 12th house of karma and of like, you know, releasing the past and bringing room. But you're having a great helper because Uranus is in your sign, so you will be fine. Next one is what? Gemini. I think, yeah, right? Am I right? Gemini, yeah. Okay, Gemini, is for you guys. So at 11th house of partnership and friends, yeah, you got 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes. For you guys, what, you have a North Node now. So you are kind of like in this, what do you call it, whirlpool of hosting the North Node, of the future destiny, of moving forward, of like this with your very Gemini volatile air energy. You're already there. Nine, kind of like you are already, I think, already cycling this whirlpool of this work of release, what is always recommended during the full moon and Mars retrograde specifically, and of kind of like cleaning the space for something new. 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes. Here it is, what is this animal, like, you know, how we call this monkey, like baboon, I don't know, to be honest. He has the Ankh, he has the Egyptian symbol of eternal life, and a Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign, yeah, of our deep, like, you know, of our deep hidden things, like, you know, things that are inside. The 2 pillars of knowledge, the kind of like 9-point star, of course, because 9 of Cups, and this baboon reaching the completion emotionally through partaking of different elements, through actually acknowledging what's deep inside and opening yourself to the eternity, opening yourself to the infinite, and balancing black and white inside of you. So I think, Geminis, you're doing not that bad, that you're doing your job well, with North Node probably helping you. It's hard to host the South Node, but I think the North Node is better, because it's all about the future. It's about being hopeful, you know, and kind of having the job done to move forward. Queen of Pentacles, you know, actually Pentacles can mean a person of Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus in your life that probably, like, you know, because it's in 11th house, maybe it's time to meet with this person, to reconnect, to call, like, you know, to remember that you're part of something bigger, to actually, because you have done your job emotionally and you're in such a good place that, you know, it's kind of like building in networks that are as many as trees in the forest, you know, or maybe even reconnecting with nature in this way, you know, and feeling more grounded as well, and feeling the new doors opening to you. But she's like crying some crystals, so it's again this constant release and the growth of new through release, you know. And But I think something might come to fruition for you. I don't know what it is going to be exactly, but I think that you have a blessing to actually manifest something material, because it is the Suit of Pentacles. And then again, the Seven of Pentacles, gathering the harvest, feeling confident, feeling yourself as the creator of the world. If you haven't watched my introduction, watch, because that's what I'm talking about. That how we feel inside, that's what we project outside, and that's how life is happening. That's what people that we attract, especially in the context of 11th house. And it is also the events which are happening to us. So when you have reached your full potential emotionally and reconnected with other people and with this kind of energy of nature, that's when this card is coming up. Because this card is actually the opposite of what I talked. This is the card of creator, the card of demiurge. That your balance inside is so powerful that you feel that the whole universe is working to help you. Here is the sun eclipse, the sigils of the planets, you know, it's kind of like powerful streams of, I don't know, vibrational energy, whatever you call it. It's knowing that you're having control over your life and moving forward, knowing that you're creating the life that you want. Very powerful card of manifestation. I hope this will become true for you. But this card comes, yeah, it's exactly what I was talking about in the introduction, that when we feel like we are creators, we're taking responsibility for creating. That's when we're seeing the results. We know that we are part of the universe, we're part of this world, and that when we are in this harmony and confidence and assertiveness, the whole universe is actually working to help us, you know. Next one is Cancer. Cancer darlings, you are opposing the party in Capricorn, and the retrograde is happening in your, what, 10th house of career, yeah? And the, oh, excuse me, the full moon in Aries is happening in your 10th house of career. Maybe also a good time look, because you're having this cluster of energy in your 10th house of career. It's probably not going really successfully for many people. There might be like troubles at work. My mom is Cancer. She has lots of troubles at work at the moment, also because of pandemic, but also like lots of clashes with other people at her work, you know, because the poor Cancers are facing the 7th house Capricorn with all this Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, heavy energies, you know. But Ace of Swords, new beginnings, Swords, air, thought forms. So in case the difficulties are happening, the thing might be, I'm kind of like looping myself to what I was talking in the introduction, to change your attitude. Because, yeah, because by changing your internal attitude, the way you think of people, the way you analyze your situation, this would be your new beginning. You are not necessarily going to find a new job tomorrow or fix the relationship with your coworkers or with your friends or with your family members. But it is the invitation to change the way you think of it, to start new beginnings in your head. And this is the most important. When the new beginnings are already in your head, that's when they start in real life, you know. I very much like this card because it's a bird. He's ready to fly, but he has some restraint in his heart, you know. He's kind of like tied in his heart center, you know. Release it. Don't be like all stuck like this, afraid, all these things happening. Really, I'm tired of this shit, sorry. But untied. Breathe in with your full breast, you know, and change the way you think of it. It's super difficult. I'm not saying it's very easy. But then you have a massive promise. Queen of Wands, Sag, Leo, Aries. It might mean the full moon in Aries for you. It might mean that this full moon in Aries is actually very powerful for you specifically, because moon is feminine and Aries is a fire sign. So queen, feminine, fire sign, Wands, yeah. But it is the promise. It is the promise of abundance, of fertility, of financial stability. and also the way how you want to feel yourself and present yourself in the world, like this queen. It might be that the help would come from someone of this sign, from a woman who is like Leo Aries, but it might be also that it's time for you to feel different, for you to feel like, you know, how you call it, vital, more like, you know, vibrant, and so on. And then you again got swords, like King of Swords. King of Swords, it's actually, it can be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, you know. Sun is in Libra now, helping you with, helping all of us basically with like, you know, words and communication, all those things. So in case there are troubles at your workplace or with other people, it's always good to talk, you know, or it is good to write the things down. He has those, like, here, feathers with words. Go to write things down and change your way of thinking towards them. So you got like 2 swords card. For you, it's all about communication, and correct communication, not like fire communication, air communication, very rational, very thought through communication. And I hope you will feel like a boost of energy, because I want all of you to feel like vibrant and to feel like more life force inside of you for this moon. The next one is what? Leo, yeah. For you, Leo, it's happening in the 9th house. Oh no, everything's falling. Oops. Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not all of them. Sorry for that. For you, darlings, happening, I think, in the 9th house. In the 9th house, which is the house of the quest, of the spiritual quest for the Holy Grail, yeah. So if you haven't listened to my introduction, do. It's a short one. It's about 20 minutes, I think. And I think that it's interesting. It's not a boring one. And I think because I interpreted what's going on in the skies now through the theatrical play, and that's how I imagined it, I think Leos might appreciate it. Because in my opinion, Leos should love all those things, like theater and arts and all those things. Leos. What's the advice for you guys? Oh boy. Okay. Well, the first card you got is 3 of Pentacles. That's how you start your journey. 3 of Pentacles is a card of collaboration, of creativity. Actually, Leos, you might love it. Because the full moon is... Oh, you have Venus now, of course. You have the Venus, which I imagined as the Grail. This healing Grail, which is now trining the wounded king, the Mars in Aries. Yes, of course, you're having the grace of Venus. For you, the retrograde is getting easier. Venus with the loving energy. Venus should feel comfortable. It's said in many kind of like theories that Venus is uncomfortable in Leo. This just cannot be true. Leo is about art, beauty, inspiration, creativity, feeling amazing. Venus is about dressing up and pampering yourself and being creative and being abundant, you know, and just being bigger than life. So I'm sure they're good friends. And this divine healing light of Venus, this harmonious love, unconditional love, it is easing for you this by this trine, the Mars retrograde, the wounded Mars in Aries. So you must be feeling great. 3 of Pentacles here is a very Leonine card, because those people, they are covered in golden cloaks. You know, golden is very much your way. So it is about collaboration, about manifestation, because there is 2 which give birth to the 3rd one. Getting new ideas, opening yourself to, like, you know, new beginnings and new manifestations, to new projects probably or something. And but also collaborating with others, remembering you're not alone on this road, remembering that those golden cloaks, they have many folds, so there are lots of layers to what we are doing, and there are lots of like expertise of other people required sometimes to manifest our plans. So it is an extremely beneficial card, and it is the card of what? It is the card of what is the card of the, how to say it poetically, of the builder, of the architect, you know. So it's usually a person who's kind of like building the temple, but to build the temple you need lots of help, you know. You need people who are good at different sort of things, like, you know. So reach out to others, and if you have some amazing creative plans, best of luck with it. It might work for you. But also you got like lots of important things. You got death, and you got temperance. So you got Pluto card, the Scorpio card, and Sag card. How you can achieve this? You got the new beginnings. To get the new beginnings, you need to go through symbolic death and rebirth. So actually this full moon in your fellow fire sign might mean a need of transformation of some area of your life or of yourself, closure, massive end of the cycle. And if this is happening for you, yeah, just go slowly. Temperance is an amazing card, an alchemical card, the card of marriage of fire with water. So in case you get into fiery, tapped water, be kinder, be nicer, be slower, be gentle, flow like water, you know. Temperance is an alchemical process of creating something new, you know. So step by step, you know, step by step, and guided, meticulous approach with this reaching out to others. That's how your quest would be successful. You'll perform the release, and then you start. The release is only the beginning of the tarot suit. You start step by step, creating this baby, creating this something new with the blessing of the Temperance card. Sag, yeah, another fire sign. So this kind of the synergy of fire is working for you, Leo, actually, but you're blessed with the Venus who's like protecting you like a caring mother, you know. And I think you can actually enjoy yourselves. Whatever, like, you know, it's October, it's gonna be like, you know, quite chaotic, but enjoy yourselves and have this moderate approach. Think of what's going on, think of the interplay of elements and events and people in your life, and yeah, and then I think it's gonna be very good mood for you, because you're kind of having an antidote. The next one, Virgo, yeah. But for Virgo, it's 8th house of transformation and money. I love this. It's all together, transformation, money. Ooh, Virgo, interesting. You got 2 9s. Well, yeah. Speaking of transformation, yeah, if we take it as the end of the cycle and beginning of something new, we got Pentacles and we got Wands. So like material manifestations and some sort of like creative life energy transformation. So 9 of Pentacles, it is about actually reaching some stage of comfort. By now, I think all the Virgos have been working with the trine to the Capricorn energy for like, what, 3-4 years by now. It is about reaching certain maturity in terms of like material world and your physical appearance and how you're doing it. It is like, you know, this card is mind-blowing, because like, you know, there is this caduceus, there is the wheel of fortune in the belly, there is like, you know, the connection to the dark moon Lilith and to the new moon. Experiencing it all and balancing it all within you, so that your inside, your soul becomes like a fiery furnace in which the chemical transformation is performed, in which you put like, you know, those like simple common metals, and in the furnace of your soul, by like, you know, going through the dark stage of alchemical process into the white stage of those like nigredo, you know, and whatever is there. Yet you transform it in something new, in amalgamation, which is the philosophical stone, this kind of philosophy stone. Actually, you know what, in one of the Grail legends, actually the Grail, it is a philosophy stone. I think actually in Aschenbach, that I was talking in the introduction, I think like it's not a cup, it's not a tray, it is a stone. So reaching this maturity by knowing what you've been through and uniting all those elements, and I'm kind of like mixing them all together, blending them, melting them in the fire of yourself, and growing, you know, growing, because it has the knowledge of everything. This creature, he's looking into the present, future, like past. Maybe because it's happening in your 8th house, and it is all about release. You know, the full moon is about release, but also Aries full moon starts the cycle of the full moon ahead, so it is about release and the new beginnings at the same time. So oh, actually he's written salve and coagula. It's in Latin, kind of like dissolve and coagulate, amalgamate. It's actually the card about alchemy. I didn't know that. Well, but I mean, those symbols are universal, so they speak to you through those archetype, you know. Yeah, some sort of like, you know, you're going through some alchemical process. So you are releasing, and that's your transformation, but also you're kind of getting this new energy of the moon, of this, like, you know, new cycle of the full moon, new fiery cycle. And 9 of Wands, same, like, you know, a completion of some fiery, creative, like, you know, things. So use your life force, use your inner fire, your inner, like, dragon or like tiger, to kind of put the fire in your internal furnace, to basically go through it, work through it, blend black and white, and come up with the gold, you know. And then you got 6 of Cups, one of my favorite cups, favorite cards, because this is the card of transformation. It's an angel. He dives deep from the domain of the air, what he's used to, because his wings, he's now jumping, he's going down deeper to know himself better. But he's so developed and so magical that in order to feel comfortable underwater, he's growing those cancer, I don't know how called, claws, hands, I don't know how it's called. You change yourself to adapt to new circumstances. When you were in the sky, you had wings. Now you're underwater, you have those like Cancerian claws. Adaptability, you know. I think Virgos by now, working hard through the training, Capricorn energies, you have reached this level of opening to something new, but also the level of being able to adapt to absolutely everything, that nothing can shake you anymore. That if they throw you into fire, you grow scales. If they throw you into water, you grow those Cancerian hands, you know. If they throw you into air, you grow wings. You are invincible. I'm Virgoizing, so I'm laughing a lot, but I think that's what's happening for all of us poor Virgos, you know. The next one is Libra. Libra for you, what, 7th house? You have Sun now, it's your season, Libra. We will be doing new moon in Libra in 2 weeks. It will be beautiful. It will be absolutely beautiful. I'm already getting there. I will be wearing it maybe next time when we start using the heating and it's not 10 degrees in my room anymore. I got like lovely and kind of pendant, the rose quartz heart. I'm preparing for Libra season. We are in Libra season. Oh, my darlings, lovely cards. Oh, God Almighty. The Empress. Oh, God. Venus. Motherly, loving energy. Venus is ruling you, Libra. That's your card. That's basically your card, Libra. Well, your card in tarot is a different one. It's Justice. But, I mean, energy-wise, it is very much you. So, you have Sun now. It's your season. Happy birthday, Libras who have birthday this month. The full moon is happening in your 7th house of partnership. But you are our collective 7th house. You are naturally good 7th house things. If there are like upheavals there, but also like, you know, it kind of just came to my mind. that there is like this retrograde, but the moon is almost conjunct Chiron. So I think that for you it will be nothing difficult to continue loving, caring relationship with other people, like, you know, reconnecting. Other people might be not as good as you know, they might be totally lost, low, depressed, aggressive. You have this motherly love to share with everyone. You have the harvest of apples. You can give apple for you, apple for you. You have enough for everyone, you know. You have enough love and peace, your internal peace for everyone. Please keep doing what you're doing. Reconnect to others. You're like angels, like, you know, of this world. So like bring more love and warmth to others who probably lack it, you know. As I said in the introduction, I discussed the Grey Legend. If you haven't heard it, go. It's about 20 minutes, like wouldn't take much. But that's, for me, this full moon is about the Grail quest. And in one of the versions of the tale, the magic question to heal the wounded king and to heal his land is that Percival, the knight who's on the quest for the Grail, he needs to ask, uncle, what is troubling you? Why are you wounded? Why are you hurting? And by this question alone, the mysterious powers of the Grail are released. Everyone is healed. It's all good. Reaching out to others, how important it is. And you also got Two of Pentacles. It might be well that you will be having some sort of like new material beginnings, you know. It might be also be well that you're balancing many things. Maybe you're very busy, Libras, you know. Well, it's autumn, it's busy time, that you're balancing too many things. In case that's it, you are Libras, you know how to balance things, you know, you need to prioritize. Maybe prioritize your relationship over your work, you know, in a way, or prioritize your future over your past. Here it's like the gold. So it is all about like balancing gold and silver, yin and yang, like, you know, spring and winter, like, you know, intellect and sort of like more mystic, emotional dimensions. So it is the time to seek balance for you and to show love to the world. But also you got the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the card of Taurus. And it kind of speaks to me that that's not the meaning of Hierophant, but I'm just getting that there is a massive promise of liberation for you, Libra, through this Uranus, which is now in Taurus. And this liberation through your very organic Venusian energy. If that's not Taurus and Uranus and the whole liberation process, this can also mean like, you know, maybe doing like, you know, some, Seventh house about others, maybe doing some sort of like work and work of care, work of support through structures, hierarchies, through religious institutions, maybe like, you know, giving alms or donating some money or donate charity, you know, helping the world to become a bit better by doing like charitable work and reaching out to others through some like more traditional channels, maybe like, you know, donating to the local parish or like, you know, yeah, to the local community of Buddhist monks, like, you know, whatever you prefer, or to your yoga shala or something like this. Helping communities, helping communities of people, maybe like related to some like spiritual areas. And by this, you will actually unlock with the key your own heart, your own temple of your heart, and you will get those kind of like the health and the sort of like renewal of your like, you know, spiritual center of your crown chakra. Next one is Scorpio, correct? So for you guys, you got Two of Discs, Three of Cups, and Eight of Cups. You're kind of like growing. The full moon is happening in what? In your 6th house of routine and career and physical health and so on and so on. Look, you start with 2, you go to 3, and then you raise to 8. The messages that I'm getting is that it's definitely time to move on for you. I don't know what it is about, because it's a collective reading, it's super hard for me to say. But it is about moving on. It's about starting something new. Materially, pentacles, yeah. Balancing things. So, like, you know, changing your focus, changing your priorities, thinking that you can't in a way have it all, like, you know, I mean, you can have it all, but you need to prioritize what is number one, number two, and so on and so on. Prioritize internal and external, stagnation and move, emotions and thought forms. And by kind of like doing the assessment of all those elements in your life, you can move to Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a blissful card. It usually means reunion with friends, encounters with people whom you love, like, you know, nostalgic, sweet card. But I think what this one is talking about is that this river is you. It is one source, you know, one source which has three distinctive waterfalls. And I think it is about becoming many, but remembering that you are whole, that you can give this love and support and your energy and your attention and your creativity to different projects, different people. You can repackage, repurpose, like, you know, what you are doing, but it still will be you. So I think for you, the thing to think of during this full moon, it is very much about preserving this wholeness and the kind of wholeness of your personality before actually spreading into different things and focusing into different things. I don't know, trying to balance your personal life and work, or different projects at work, or like relationship with this group of people and with your family. It is still coming from you. And as I said at the introduction, Aries is our collective first house. This full moon is about self, taking care of self. And so it is about like flowing into different rivers without forgetting that it has one source, which is your core, you know. And then we also have like Eight of Cups. It's usually a card of moving on. In case you're wondering if you should move on from the situation, that's your answer. Do move on. Do move forward. Do start something new, like, you know. This small girl, she is dressed in Leo skin. Leo skin is the card of strength. So you are protected by your previous experiences, by the strength that you have, but she also has like a tattoo of the star here. So it's a guiding star which invites you to discover something new, to move forward. But again, knowing that you're whole, that you're protected. Like, I think all those cards in a way, they speak of the same, about preserving personal integrity and finding new ways and new outlets for how you can preserve and show yourself into the world. See what I mean? You got lots of cups. Cups is the suit of water. Scorpio is a water sign. So I will repeat myself many times, but it can also mean, like, you know, that you can change your approach without changing yourself internally. You can be still faithful to God, faithful to your, sorry for that, faithful to yourself without, and find new ways of how to be yourself in different ways and circumstances. I'd say that's it. Next one is Sag. Happening for you, Sagittarius, in the 5th house of romantic relationship, children, creative expression, crown chakra, 6 of Wands, 9 of Discs. God, we're getting like very similar cards to people. Like, people don't like when you do collective readings because they think there's nothing personal in them, but then you start doing like more or less personal readings, at least like for collective as a sign. Still the same cards are coming for different signs. With 6 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, and the God, why cards keep falling today? And the Hanged Man. Yeah, I think the cards are tired. I'm a bit tired today, so sorry for that. So it is kind of the house of your creative expression, but it's not what this card is about. Seven of Wands in traditional decks will be the card of triumph, the card of victory. Maybe you can relate to it. Maybe you have some breakthrough. Maybe you will have some, it's, you know, like it's happening in your fellow fire sign. You will be energized. So you might feel, and Wands, it's about fire, about like fiery beginnings, you know, fiery life force. But this card, it's actually the card of a massive kind of like spiritual release, because using this fire energy, which is organic to you, but here is the Archangel Michael with the fiery sword, killing those scary snakes, demons. And this is something like, you know, the metaphor of your soul. So in order to maybe better your, to enhance your relationship with other people, to enhance your creative expression, your ability to show yourself to the world, you know, you first need to cleanse with fire. So invite Archangel Michael or the energy you would associate with it to kind of like purify your soul with this divine fire. And again, like, you know, Virgo got the same card, so go listen at what this card means in the Virgo reading. It is the card of alchemical process. Nine of Pentacles, kind of like completion of the cycle of material manifestation, completion of the cycle of maturity in this world, in this incarnation, and so on. So kind of like having fire inside of you, which allows you to burn, to balance, to not to balance, to blend together, to coagulate different elements. As I said in the Virgo reading, will repeat myself, the black moon, the white moon, you know, to balance everything, you know, your past, present, and future, and kind of reach this level of maturity and through purification and through the kind of like fundamental assessment of your previous experiences. And Hangman is about the same. You guys might feel stuck. You might feel stuck during this full moon, because again, like, you know, as a fire sign, you might be prone to this Mars retrograde very strongly. And it is retrograding, and it is not about moving forward. It is about being stuck and having, like, you know, uncomfortable position and anxieties and so on. I think actually Aries got the same card. Yes, go listen to Aries. Aries got the same card, your fellow sign. So I've spoken in more detail about it. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it might be about being stuck, but using this being stuck for your own benefit, because it allows you to change your position, to change your point of view, to probably understand the others better, because it's also a card of self-sacrifice, in a way of unconditional love, in a way of, yeah, self-sacrifice to others, and find bliss through this self-sacrifice. Probably it's again like in case you're feeling like too fiery, you know, and you get it like blurb, like, you know, getting like all those words in an uncontrollable flow. If you are prone to, I don't know, harsh, aggressive reactions, that's when the Hanged Man is coming, especially in this deck, because it's so blue and flowing, kind of like he's like isolated. Hanged Man might well mean like meditations and actually isolating yourself from the others if you feel inclined to. If we speak of other inner work, this might be the case, because you are getting those kind of like burn previous bad things by fire and then amalgamate your experiences by fire. So trial by fire, Sagittarius, which is better performed in solitude, you know, and certain restraints, certain delays maybe in your project. I'm sorry to say this. I guess we're all experiencing delays because of the current situation and the year 2020. But we are growing through it. Like, you know, if you listen to other signs, the messages that you're getting, all the cards we're getting, I'm not getting many cards somehow of conflict or of, I don't know, yeah, of being of like seven, like let's say like Seven of Swords, like of betrayal or deceits. No, but lots of cards about internal work. You know, this 2020, many people would call like the Great Awakening. maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we are called to do, like, you know. And Capricorn. Hmm. Okay, Queen of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, it's happening in your first house of home and family and all those like household. And your Saturn is squaring Mars. Actually, how I would take it, this card, because Mars, it is a masculine fire, and here it is a feminine fire. And Saturn is also, it is kind of like a very masculine planet, very harsh one. So because you're getting all those like clashes, I'm a Capricorn, that's why maybe I'm feeling so low. I think the remedy for it would be to balance it with feminine fire, to actually maybe do something which is still vital and vibrant, but which doesn't have this feeling of accomplishment that Mars would usually have. Mars, but in sort of like his feminine incarnation. That's what I would say, especially in terms of home. Maybe it is like, you know, an advice to stay home and to take more care of yourself and to take more care of, I don't know, doing something with fire, cooking, burning candles, you know, something like this. Doing something feminine related with fire. When we think of it, it is about, how do you call this? It's something like heath. You know, this oven in the traditional house that the woman is the keeper of, yeah? So the woman is the keeper of this fire. And she is kind of creating this comfort of the home. And maybe it is time for you, Capricorn, to kind of turn your gaze more to the home, to kind of keeping the fire inside of your home symbolically, you know, to keeping warmth inside of the relationship. And spending more time with family, something like this, something like having fire, but not in the destructive way, but fire in a constructive way, in a harmonious way, something that brings warmth, you know. And then you got the Hierophant, the Taurus card. Taurus, your fellow earth sign, which you're what, like trining, I guess we can say. Yeah, I'm not too sure with the Uranus now there, but also what Hierophant is speaking of traditional structures. And I think the whole world collectively, and Capricorns especially, are going through those kind of reconsideration of the element of traditional in their life. Kind of all the Capricorns are going through this massive transformation, trying to find your new niche in the society, trying to kind of probably reconnect and reconsider your previous spiritual experiences. Also the card of a teacher, of a mentor. Somehow, like how I'm seeing this full moon for you, it is something like staying home, burning candles, and doing something like, you know, very comforting. And then maybe like finding this comfort and peace during those like difficult energies clashing together through some sort of traditional teachings. Maybe reading a book, or like, you know, reconnecting with your mentor, with your teacher, trying to find some spiritual teacher, trying to seek for an advice of a spiritual like person, you know, something like this. But ultimately the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel is turning. It is a card of Jupiter. Jupiter is now obviously in Capricorn. Jupiter brings a bit of ease and a bit of good luck, but it is a card that the process is not there yet. The wheel is still turning. One day you are up, another day you're down, you know. And how I like this card, because like she's blind and she's naked. So it is something about like not looking outside, but looking more inside, but also getting naked by allowing yourself to be like fragile. Because poor Capricorns, they're like the guardians of hell, you know. Devil is a Capricorn in tarot. So guardians of hell, like look, kind of holding up the portals of hell preserving the demons for all the humanity, you know, and keeping your own demons in place. It's super tough job, like Capricorns, but allow yourself to be maybe like fragile during this full moon, and emotional, and not emotionally warm. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a very quiet moon for Capricorn. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything crazy. I'm personally not doing anything crazy. I'm tired. I'm too tired to do anything. I'm gonna be burning candles and baking a cake, you know, something like this. But also finding pleasure in small things, you know. It's not necessarily, Capricorns are ambitious. It's all about ruling the world, proving something to yourself, being a super harsh judge to yourself, and realizing your ambitions in the world. Actually now, like, maybe it's not time. We'll get there. Wheel of Fortune is still turning, but maybe it's just time to enjoy actually simple human joys. Like, yeah, reading the book next to the fire. That's the kind of image I'm getting from those cards. Who's next? Aquarius. I think so. I'm always afraid that I missed someone. Aquarius, Aquarius. For you, third house of communication, right? The throat chakra. We got very Aquarian card. King of Swords, it's you, Aquarius. Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, you know. Happening in your house of communication. In case you want to communicate something, to address someone, to go talk to someone, yeah, you're getting the green light for it. Maybe it is time to get, I don't know, to get good with words, to, I don't want to say like write a poem, but, okay, let me think of it. What's going on there? There is the healing Chiron, there is healing Chiron, Aries. Sorry, I'm getting tired by now. I'm not feeling too well, so my mind is getting like blank out sometimes. Okay, let me think. I would say, Aquarius, that you need to communicate something. You need to, how to say, give some message to someone. Because if you don't do it, then you're going to regret it a lot. This is a very scary card. I'm sorry if someone is traumatized. I'm personally traumatized every time I see this card. But it has a fiery horse. And I mean, it is about moving forward and doing something. And why those mother and child, they're like skeletons? It's because actually this card is remembering and reminding us about memento mori, yeah? This memento mori, this Latin, the medieval motto, remember about death, yeah? Remember that you're mortal. It is, in a way, a good imperative, because we know that things are finite, that things are going to end one day, so we need to act so that we will not regret it, you know. In case you need to reconnect with someone, do something, like, you know, I think you get given the green light, and it's going to be successful, because it's 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is like, you know, the card of abundance, of success, of like fulfillment. So I don't know, if you want to ask for a pay rise or something, or if you want to invite someone for a date, I think it might be very successful. But at the same time, although you're getting all those like active cards, you know, because this King of Swords, he's kind of shooting his words, he's so quick, he's so witty. And then the 10 of Cups, kind of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, success, and abundance, fertility. But then you also got Temperance. It's the card of Sagittarius. And it is about acting, but acting from the rational place, from the place which you have been thinking of, not impulsively, you know. No, in a moderate and temperate, I don't know, approach. by marrying the fire represented by tiger with water. It is a kind of sage philosophical approach. Maybe actually if you combine like philosophy and the quick words, maybe it is time, I don't know, to read a book, some like, I don't know, something to do with philosophy, or to do some philosophical analysis of the situation. But ultimately it will bring you fulfillment. It would bring you the Ten of Cups. That's a very good message. So I would say yes, if you want to, maybe it's another person of the air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and act with temperance, act like step by step. And again, like, you know, as I said in the introduction, it is about feeling yourself as the creator of the world you want, because the full moon is happening collectively in our first house, house of self, house of survival, house how we build our kingdoms, you know. So it is about kind of like blending fire and water, emotional and impulse outside. It is, yeah, it is about acting, having thought of it, of course, always. There is nothing stupid in this advice or extraordinary. But basically, I think that's what the Temperance card is also about. It is about alchemical kind of transformation, but it is also about like marrying different elements, like external and internal, and shooting yourself to the world, kind of projecting yourself and reaching the fulfillment through this. I don't know, I feel that because it is about communication, and you got the card of communication, that you might need to go like talk to someone, but maybe also reach out for help. Temperance, Sag, philosophy, psychological consultation. Would this be something to think about? Or in case, like, you know, you're a closed person, actually open up. Ten of Cups, 10 fulfillment, Cups, emotions. Talk to someone. In case you're not actually feeling well, reach out to others. Reach out to different people. Don't limit yourself to one. And find this balance through maybe words in any ways you want. And then you got the Ten of Cups. It's like the best card in the deck. Although a bit scary in this particular deck, but it is about like acting, not to regret later. And the last one, but not least, Pisces. Oh goodness. With Pisces, you got same messages as always, same cards that came for other people came for you. Happening, the full moon is happening in your second house of self-value, correct? You also got 10 of Cups. Please go listen to Aquarius. Aquarius just got the same cards. You see, I'm shuffling. I'm not that I'm picking up same cards. No, I'm shuffling. They're just coming the same cards. Go listen to Aquarius. I talked a bit about this card. I'll repeat. 5 of Swords and King of Cups. All those cards already were there. So for you, this full moon about releasing something in relation to your money or to self-value. But we got only Cups and Swords, to be honest. We got like lots of watery, emotional and intellectual energy. We didn't get any like Pentacles or Wands, which would be about like rushing, burning bridges and building new kingdoms. Maybe because, like, you know, with this Mars retrograde, it is not really time to do like massive steps in your finances and, I don't know, assets and so on. But because Chiron is there, Chiron is almost conjuncting the magical full moon, it is about healing. It is ultimately about healing. It's very emotional time, you know. I'm kind of getting this feeling from this whole things that are happening in Aries. I can't quite put it into words. I put it into words in the introduction. I described it as a medieval legend. But in general, yeah, it is like, I'm sorry for maybe very raw and rude metaphor, but it is like something like, I don't know, you're lying in the pool of blood. and then everything is illuminated. There is this magical moon and Chiron, and someone is helping, I don't know, an angel or someone in the halo of light to help you, you know. So sorry, Pisces, for this lyrical, like, you know, pause. 10 of Cups you got, guys. 5 of Swords and King of Cups, yeah. 10 of Cups, actually emotional fulfillment. Pisces, how are you doing? Let me know how you're doing during this Mars retrograde. Are you okay? I have Pisces moon. Suppose, like, emotionally it's not that bad, but it is about reaching some fulfillment emotionally, because full moon, all our like, you know, all our feelings are ripe, like, you know, like this moon, which is like a massive, like, apple or peach in the sky. So it is about kind of like burning with life, you know, burning on, riding on this burning horse and showing love to others, and realizing, yeah, I talked for Aquarius about it, that why in this deck those like 2 characters are like skeletons, because this card means memento mori. It means like remember that you're mortal, and when we remember it, this paradoxically enough brings us lots of joy and energy, because we are like, okay, we're not actually here forever, we need to do something. And it's, when you think of it, it's important to say to people that you love them, and it's important to say that to yourself, that you love yourself, you know. So it is reaching this kind of harmony emotionally with yourself and with the others. And actually same, like, you know, 5 of Swords, speaking of the same, in case you were those like owls, they represent the owl of the Greek goddess Athena, who was the goddess of wisdom, you know. They represent thoughts that are all over you. So in case you have been pondering some things, like, you know, stop it, like, you know, that's not going to bring you anywhere. Your way of to kind of like help yourself, your remedy, is to like show some sort of like motherly love, to keep the spark which she has on her chest, you know. And here, like, she's holding someone else's hand. So to reach to the other, to reach to different person, and through this kind of like fix your self-value, or like in your financial situation, reach not through work on your own, but work through others. The Sun is in Libra. We are working energetically across this axis: Libra, others, and Aries, self. So self and others, through the 10 of Cups, through this mercy which comes to us, like to Buddha, you know, when he saw the dead animal and the sick old man. By knowing that everything is going to end one day, developing this empathy and mercy towards the others and towards yourself, and healing your too much thoughts, in case you have those like anxieties, voices, healing it through reaching out to others. All your cards are very deep and very internal, because they're cups. And cups, like, well, it can be you, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. It might be like a person of the fire sign. If this is someone meaningful in your life, that's time to reconnect with them first and foremost. But if not, with all the lotus flowers, with his body like half immersed into the water, it is about lying down, going deeper into the water of your subconscious. For you, Pisces, I think that this full moon is going to be a good time to perform some rituals. For all of us, rituals of release. But for you also, like, you know, to kind of to meditate maybe intensely, and to calm the kind of this flickering mind with the waters of, like, you know, kind of calm voice of the higher self. So something like this. I think this is all. I think we have looked at the all sides, if I'm not mistaken. Please, as always, let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm wishing you very, very good full moon in Aries. It's going to be a beautiful moon. It's a potent moon. Well, I think it's the most powerful full moon of the year. So it's time to work with the energies profusely, profoundly, you know, properly. And I hope this will be lots of blessings to all of us as a collective. I'm sending you so much love. And as always, I see you in 2 weeks' time for the new moon in Libra. It's going to be an amazing moon. And talk to you then. Bye.